dyed my hair to this light brown the other day and I feel like it looks really good, but it's also my natural color. So it's kind of taking me back to being 16 years old and I feel like teenage girls are bullying me. I want to make another dress. I know I made one just a couple of weeks ago, and I also know that the algorithm has finally started feeding my videos to interior design interested people, an audience interested in interior design, because I've done so much work trying to get it there. But in the immortal words of Shakira, lucky that my breasts are small and humble so you don't confuse them with mountains. I believe that was translated poorly. Someone told me that once, and apparently those were not the lyrics that she was meant to sing, so. Anyway, I really want to make a spring dress. Now that Christmas is over, I can stop pretending that I live in the northern hemisphere. I guess it's a summer dress actually. And I can make something really cute and kind of, I'm thinking, it's a long way away. I'm thinking a little bit Easter themed, maybe a cute little gingham picnic dress, putting in there and some flowers. I think that'll look very cute. I was doing embroidery last night on a dress that I was trying to finish off camera just for funsies, and then I ironed it and the iron was too hot and I melted it, so I had to embroider the holes up. And it's only on the back, so I think it looks cute, and honestly, like, I don't care, I'm still gonna wear it. It's a cute dress. I'm undecided as to what pattern I'm going to use, but the plan today is to at least get the main pieces of the dress cut out, because I'm taking it slow, baby. And then we're returning to my will to get my stuff to look professional, god damn it. I will not fail. If anything goes wrong in this, I might cry. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. Really fun fact that I'm starting this project while I still have to finish this dress. But I've decided to start a whole new dress because I didn't film this dress. I just kept doing it at like 1 a.m. Now you have to excuse my extremely messy house. We're in the process of moving some stuff around for the 87th time. Where's my pattern box? Okay. Here is my pattern collection at the moment. What I'm thinking is we either use this, which I tried to make the other week, or we go back to Old Faithful. We make D here, but we lower the neckline an inch or two to make it more of a scoop neck. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm just gonna use facings instead of trying to line it and trying that as the hellscape that is, because I don't want to have to mess around with linings again, because that sucked. And then maybe I make a little belt as well to go with it. We do a little collar, we do a little embroidery. Maybe it'll be fun. I'm thinking we do this, because I think that I can't scoop this as much, but I would like to make this version of this dress too, so that I'm gonna clean some stuff up. I started on day one by beginning to cut out all my pattern pieces and sewing the skirt together. Then I finalized the skirt with a finishing stitch. After cutting my pieces out, I began sketching out my dart lines without cutting them, and then pinning the bodice pieces together. First, I pinned the shoulder seams of each side, back and front, of my garment, and sewed these together with a straight stitch. Then, I set my machine to the longest stitch I could, and I sewed a basting stitch down around the top shoulder of each sleeve to the corners that would go under my armpit. This would create ease and allow my sleeves to perfectly sit inside their dedicated armholes. After I had pulled the thread through a fair bit, I began lining the sleeves up into the armholes. I first pinned each corner of the sleeve to the corners of the bodice that would sit under my arms, and then the highest point of the shoulder line to the shoulder seam to ensure I had perfectly even sleeves all the way around. I also pinned the side seams together, right sides together. This allowed me to take the bodice piece over to my machine and sew both the seam and the finishing stitch for each side in one fell swoop.
pressed the bodice, and then I finally notched the sleeves for greater ease before adding the finishing stitch there.
Good morning, it is Wednesday, the day of Wednesday, of Saint Wednesday. Historically, this day was celebrated because Saint Wednesday rose from his grave to suck the life out of small children. It's a historical fact. I'm having the best time sewing this dress. Now, remember how I was like, I'm going to change the neckline of this dress? Well, I tried it on yesterday and I've decided that I love the dress as is. I'm not changing anything. So I need to put these two halves of the dress together, do some facings, do some closures, and hem it, and then do some fun, fancy, fresh embroidery. I have completely annihilated my living room with little scraps of fabric debris, and that is kind of the way these sewing projects go. Look at this. Look at how clean the inside of this is. I'm so happy. It's so finished and nice, and all the seams go the right way. So there are some places where I still need to do my final finishing stitches, such as under this arm, but I've done under this. No, I haven't done under this arm. So I need to do under this arm. I haven't done finishing stitches under either arm. So I still need to do that. But aside from that, I'm extremely happy. This is potentially the neatest garment that I think I've ever made. I think it's probably going to be the most wearable garment that I've ever made, as in day-to-day wear, not something that just like looks good on camera or in a photo. I think that it's genuinely nicely made. I did my darts, and I pinned these against myself and didn't cut them. I've been looking at a lot of sort of not just vintage patterns, but like vintage images of dresses close up, as close as I can get. And I've noticed that even when they're made of a thin cotton that's a little bit see-through, usually you can see the dart folded over instead of a seam line, like a cut seam. So that is what I've learned, because that's the way that I learn. I don't ask people questions, nor do I really look at a lot of YouTube tutorials, to be honest. And then here's the inside of my skirt, which also seems to look really pretty and nice. I need to run a basting stitch through the length of this to create some ruffles. And then I'm going to attach the two pieces together. And then it's time for embroidery. And my final steps will be facing, closure, hem, in that order. I have looked at some references of the kind of embroidery I want to do. It's this really cool beaded raspberry embroidery with silk embroidered leaves. There's something in this vein. There was one that was all French knots for the little guys. Regardless, the idea is that for this dress, I do a kind of spring and summer theme with flowers and bees, little sprigs of lavender. Like I'm thinking one here, just kind of like a brooch, and then a couple around the hem, which I think will look really beautiful. And then I have an idea to do a black and white dress in autumn around Easter, where I embroider like a bunny and autumn leaves and those blackberries on, because I really struggled to stick with my original lavender plan when I saw those blackberries. They look fantastic to me. That is the plan for today.
I then measured, pinned, ironed, and sewed a rolled hemline. I pressed and sewed in an invisible zipper and a button closure, and then it was time for embroidery. I used a pen with disappearing ink to sketch out my design, then attached an embroidery hoop to the left breast side of my dress bodice. My embroidery hoop is broken, I can't find the screw for it, so I tied it closed with a hair tie, very MacGyver-y. The plan was to create a simple brooch-like design of a couple of sprigs of lavender. For the embroidery, I used strands of a variegated green and brown silk ribbon for the stems and leaves, using a simple twisted stitch and basic leaf stitch to create a loose, natural look for each stem. To give my lavender flowers some dimension, I used a deep dusty rose silk ribbon for the French knots representing the petals and some of the inner buds. And then I finished this with a selection of dark blue, purple and lilac beads organised in a slightly randomised ombre pattern.
So I've managed to finish my dress and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Couple things. Okay, so one is this embroidery has started to come out, and for now I'm just gonna stitch it back in with a little bit of thread. So obviously I didn't do my embroidery very well. I also haven't applied a backing to it yet. So I definitely think that that is something that is worth me doing. Everything fits really well, but I do feel that my sleeves are just a touch tight, and I think the shoulders on this pattern need to be a little bit longer for my body. I noticed, I think it's on this side, there's a little bit of a uneven stitch line just here that I think I could probably fix at a later date. But aside from that, oh, and the other thing is I do think this dress requires a belt. So I'm either gonna make one in a matching fabric and make my own belt buckle, or I'm gonna go to a thrift store and try and find one that's white and kind of 1960s looking. But aside from that, I adore this dress. I think the purple and green was a good idea with the little lavender brooch. It's making me feel very like Easter, even though, as I said, I live in Australia and we get Easter in autumn, so it shouldn't be making me feel Easter. But as a result, I've been putting lots of kittens and bunnies into this video, and bees, which I've been loving, getting up and going outside into my garden and filming the bees. I'm super happy with how much I've learned on my sewing journey so far, and I'm really excited about this dress and making a few more dresses, and particularly altering patterns with what I have learned from my last couple of dresses. I'm probably going to get back into a little bit more renovation style stuff in the coming weeks, because I desperately need to finish all of the wallpaper that I've been painting in this house. It's driving me nuts, the amount of unfinished walls that are in here. Also, as you can see, my background where I film a lot of my stuff has changed. Got some new furniture in and I'm arranging that. And I will do some videos on arranging and permanently placing this furniture in some of the ways that I plan to do that will be coming in the future.